know why this thing is being dumb. But I mean, we might as well look at one of Unlimited's videos for now. I assume this is working right now. Technology is dumb. Colin, did you get this notification? I don't think I got a notification. Okay, so I am live. I don't know if there was a notification. Cool, connecting to the chat. So we are somewhat good, I guess. Let's throw some of this fishing line. No, I just opened the app and saw it. All right. So that's the problem that happened last time. I don't know why a notification is not being sent out. Yeah, it's just the two of us, dog. It was just me and Old School and the moderator on the last one. I don't know why a notification is not being sent out. So, I don't know, bro. We gotta wait. We gotta wait for a little bit. Why is this just... All right, Old School's here now. Okay, so now it's the three of us. You, me, Old School, the moderator, maybe. But yeah. Colin, did you happen to see that fish that I caught? No notification. Did you happen to see the fish that I caught, Colin? That's the question. Taco. No notification, and it didn't show up on the TV app. Had to look in my phone. I wasn't sure if you landed it, but I saw. What, Colin? How do you not know if I landed it, bro? Taco's trying to get into my soul, bro. Colin, this is just a verification. We will watch a stream inside of a stream. It's going to be kind of weird. But since Colin didn't see the verification, we will watch a stream inside of a stream. But we will not cross streams, because if we cross streams, then, you know, that's just got a bad outcome waiting to happen. So here we are trying to get on the ramp. Then we tried to go chase these stupid fish that were boiling or in the jump. Couldn't catch them. So I was like, all right, well, I suck. So let's move over here. That dude put his boat in. And then somewhere around here, I was on the phone, so you won't hear anything. And there we go, Colin. Right there is a hook set. There's a fish jumping around right there. Did I land it? It comes into the boat. I'm still on the phone. Colin, I want you to focus your eyes somewhere around here. This is game film. This is game film that we're watching right now. I don't know what you guys are chatting about. Boom, in the hand. Wash out. Pause it right there. Oh, dang it. I paused it to not right there. So we'll go back one. And then we're going to pause it right there. Look at that, Colin. You see that? That is a verification of a fish today. So the streak continues. The streak continues. So the streak continues, guys. So that is 30 times 4 plus some number of days. The consecutive number of days of fish landings, bro. Of a non-zero streak. That right there is the verification. But who cares about that? That's not what we're here for. We're here for the public service announcement. So now that we are connecting to the chat, I'll be able to see the chat right here and then be able to talk to you guys, no problem. So that verification that this is the streak that never ends. It goes on and on, my friends. Some people started watching it not knowing what it was, and they'll continue watching it forever just because this is the streak that never ends. Thank God. But that's neither here nor there. So what I was trying to tell you guys is the reason that the mic cut off, right? Why is my chat not coming out up here? I would like my chat right there. It says successfully connected, but I cannot see my chat here. Let's get out of here. I should be showing my chat right there. Connecting live chat, successfully connected, nothing there. Okay, technology is stupid. But what's up, Fred? I saw you. I have to come back over here to this side of the phone and see what's up. So, dudes, this is the public service announcement. So while I was out on the water, me and Colin have the same TVs. That's what's up. All right. So while I was out there on the water, I received this phone call, right? It says restricted. So when it says restricted, I'm thinking, okay, maybe my brother is being stupid. And I think I even said it during the live. I was all like, you know what? This might be my brother. I think he's just being stupid. Let me see who it is. So then I answer it. And as I answer it, bro, I get this person talking to me. And then this person is all like, yeah, is this Mr. blah, 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 blah? And I was like, who's asking? And then they're like, oh, okay, well, if this is, do you know the Muffin Man? Actually, I might, bro. I might. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man, something Drury Lane or something along those lines. Taco, I don't understand why it matters. So you just do you, I'll do me, and then we'll be good. Do you know I have no idea what that one is, but either way. So then we end up, we're there, and I'm talking to this person. I have no idea who it is. It's a restricted number. I'm just like, whatever. Okay, cool. So I end up just talking. Then they're spitting information to me, right? They're saying, hey, do you live here? Blah, 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 all this other stuff. And I was like, who is this? And they said, oh, well, this is so-and-so from a... actually, it is not a yes or no, dude. It's a don't worry about it. To each their own, dog. If you do, then cool. If not, cool too, bro. But either way, so he spits back some information and then he starts telling me, hey, so you did not arrive for a jury duty summons. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, you didn't arrive for the jury duty summons that you received, blah, blah, blah. We received a return on the jury duty summons, and it had a signature, but we're not. Oh, I don't even know what that is, bro. But the answer is no. So a jury summons, and I was all like, I never received a jury summons. And they're like, well, we received a signed one. And then I was all like, that's weird. Because I would have been notified if I received a jury summons, because the moderator, she would have told me about it. I mean, of course, I didn't tell him, the moderator, but I was like, she would have told me about it. She's the one who goes, she's the one who goes to. And you see what happens with verticals, Cullen. We're in vertical land right now, so this is going to happen. But she's the one who goes out and gets the mail and whatnot. So she would have notified me if I needed, or if I had a jury summons. And then they said, oh, well, we received one back with a signature. So do you know if your wife signed it or whatever? And I was all like, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't sign it. She would have just told me, hey, I got to go to court or whatever. And he's like, all right, because, if she signs it, then you could be, or she could be held accountable for fraud or forgery or whatever. And I was like, bro, I'm sure that my wife didn't sign it and sent it. So we ended up, Fred, you know what's up, dog. So so we end up just kind of talking the situation out. And I was like, well, hold on. Are you sure I am like who you think I am? And then he starts, yeah, I mean, this dude has my of course he called me, so he has my cell phone number, he has my my address and my name. So I was like, all right, whatever. So I'm just discussing stuff, not giving any information, just discussing stuff. And I was like, what? So let me get this straight. You got a jury summons that has a signature on it, and you got it somehow, and I didn't show up to jury duty. So apparently it's a federal court. That's what he had said, that it was a federal court that was summoning me to jury duty or whatever. And he said, and we need to figure out what happened here. So I believe you sound like a law-abiding citizen and whatever. So I mean, I guess it just comes through my voice, bro, that I'm a law-abiding citizen. So I'm okay, cool. So so he ends up telling me, look, you got two options. You can either go through a criminal proceeding, whatever, like the cops will just show up at my house and exercise a warrant or whatever, or you can do a civil situation, handle it civilly or whatever, and then I can just report to the sheriff's office myself, and then they will do a signature verification, some along these lines, a signature verification, and make sure that it wasn't me, and they will go from there. And I was like, okay, whatever, dog. I'll just go in to the sheriff's office or whatever. And then he's all like, okay, so the judge has, because you didn't show up, the judge has put a fine on it, right? He said he's issued a warrant and he's fined you for not showing up. And I was like, that's weird. And so all this whole conversation is happening while I catch that fish and then while I'm pulling up the kayak, right? Because this dude tells me you have to show up. That's a great question there. That is a great question there, Fred. So then I'm all like, okay, cool. And then he ends up just asking me, asking me which way I want to go, the civil or the other one. And I was all like, well, hold on, dog. Let me figure something out here. I go, because something doesn't sound right. None of this sounds right, bro. So then he's all like, okay, well, here's the thing. Because of the fact that this is and the only reason I'm telling you guys this is so that you guys can see what was said, and then you guys will be like, okay, all right, cool. So he was all like, hey, thank you. But so I was all like, okay, cool. What are the options here? And he said, you can go in there, but in order to do the civil one, you gotta have you got to pay some fine, right? And if the signature verification matches, or it doesn't match your signature, then it wasn't you, and then the judge will waive the fine and whatever, and he'll have it back to you the same day. So he'll have it back to you the same day. It'll be a cashier's check that you'll receive at the sheriff's department, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. So I'm still just talking to him, and he said, but you cannot get off the phone, because then I forgot how he worded it, but he was all like, we need to have compliance, so I need to stay on the phone with you the entire time. And I was like, okay, cool. So because I'm just trying to fill out this process here and understand what the heck is going on. So then he tells me that that I can't tell anybody. Do not tell anybody, because the federal courts, something about witness protection and jury tampering and this, that, and the other. So they got to verify that they are not tampering with the jury and blah, 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 blah. So he tells me all this stuff, and none of this is tracking, right? I'm all like, this is stupid, but we're going to go along. So then I'm like, okay, dude, so I can't tell anybody. And he goes, no, because if you tell your wife or anybody, then that's in contempt of court, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So then he asked me, okay, so how much money do you have in your account? And I'm like, bro, I'm not telling anybody how much money I have in my account. But the other thing that saved me was, oh, okay, that's definitely a red flag, right? Right. But at this point in time, the vato hasn't said anything about money. He hasn't said anything about money. He's just telling me you could go in and do this and that. So I said, I'll just go into the sheriff's office. And he goes, okay, but in order for you to go into the sheriff's office, you need to pay this fine. And then I said, okay, so let me ask you a question. Do I pay it when I get there to the sheriff's office? Then he said, no, you can't pay that, because if you have a warrant and you show up to the sheriff's office, then they have no choice but to arrest you. So you have to pay it first so that it'll get waived, and then you end up being able to go to the sheriff's office, do the signature verification, and then blah, 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 right? So I was like, okay. I was like, all right, well, all right. So he says, how much money do you have in your account? And I'm like, dude, like I legitimately did not know, because I don't know. So then I told him, hey, bro, I don't know how much money I have in my account. So my wife knows that. I'm going to have to call her. And he's like, okay, well, you could talk to her, but like you can't get off the phone. And I was like, well, then how am I supposed to verify how much money I got in the account, dog? I got to talk to my wife. So then he's all like, yeah, you you end up having to, because I told him, dude, I got my kayak here. I'm not going to the sheriff's office and just leaving all my fishing rods and all my kayak stuff right there, because somebody's going to steal my stuff. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to my house. I'm going to drop this stuff off, and then I'm going to head over there. But he was very particular in how long it would take me to get there, right? So he was trying to make like a time crunch so that I only had a certain window and whatever. So I was like, yeah, whatever. So I'm just talking to this dude, trying to get the feel. And then the dude was telling me, all right, the fine is for $5,000. And I was like, dude, who the heck is just going to pay that for no reason? And then he's like, well, we could lower it, but I got to go ask the judge. And I was like, go ask the judge, bro. And then magically he reaches out to the judge, which just magically all of a sudden they got in touch with. And he said, okay, so the judge is going to be lenient on you because you seem to have no record, blah, 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 blah. And then he said, so because of that, we're going to knock it down to $3,200. And I'm like, okay, cool, bro. So what? And then he's all like, so what are you going to do? And I was like, well, how do I pay this $3,200? And then he said, well, okay, so you're going to go in, and he initially said that there was a kiosk at the sheriff's department or something. And then I was like, wait a second, hold on. So I pay at the sheriff's department? Then and this is me, we're having this conversation as I'm driving back home. And he was all like, yo, no, you cannot pay it at the sheriff's department. And I was like, well, then how do I pay this? I go, dude, because if I'm paying something, I'm going to need verification before I pay anything. There's no way that I'm just going to pay. I told him, this is feeling very scammish. There's no way that I'm just paying something. This is stupid. Like, I'm not an idiot, bro. So where do I pay this? And then he kept on saying, oh, well, so when you get to the sheriff's department, that's where you get your money back. And I was like, yeah, I don't care about that. Where do I pay this? And then after a while, he was like, well, so which one are you going to? The criminal one or the civil one? And I was like, dude, let's just go with the civil one. How am I paying this? Where do I pay this? And then he says, okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to park in a secure location, and I want you to go, well, when you get there, I want you to go to a Walmart and go to their money whatever thing. And I was like, hold on, dog, hold on. You want me to go to a Walmart and go to their money, I don't know what their money thing is called, MoneyGram or whatever. I was like, so you want me to go to Walmart and pay this money? And he goes, yes, but it's got to be in cash or a debit, but it can't be a credit card. And I was like, okay, dog, so you're telling me that a federal court, oh, that's fine, Taco. Nobody is for or against you, bro. Pray for me. That's great. Nobody is like, we're telling a story here, dog. We're not in Bible class right now. So we're just telling an instance of something that happened to me. That is all we're concerned about here. It has nothing to do with my soul right now. It is just we're telling a story about a potential scammer, so that others can see it and then know, okay, yeah, this is stupid. So he tells me that I got to go to Walmart. And then I was all like, no, bro, this doesn't make any sense. Why would a federal court go to Walmart? Then he said, okay, so Walmart was an approved facilitator of financial blah, blah, blahs for the federal government due to COVID back in the day, blah, blah, blah. So people went there instead of going to courthouses and whatever. And I was like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. Oh, it was elaborate. It was elaborate, Colin. This thing was top notch. Because here's the thing. So I'm just stringing along, right? Trying to understand, trying to see what's real, what's not, right? But now, if I'm somebody who, let's say, an older person or whatever who like might not be seeing these things, who might be scared, then because, dude, they put heavy pressure, bro. They put heavy pressure because they're like, hey, man, do you want this to come out on your record? And I was like, I don't even know what this is, dog. So how could it come out on my record? I need some verification. I asked him, excuse me. I asked him, okay, bro. It's kind of impressive that I stayed on the phone that long, dog. But I asked him, okay, dude, like I'm not just giving money away to anybody. Give me some verification. Send me some paperwork. Send me something that shows something. You know, because I'm not just going to you know, like send out cash to nobody. And then he said, I can't send you any paperwork because something about a case and it's under a subpoena, so I can't see it. I can't have it. I can see it, but they can't send it out to me. They can't do this. They can't do that, right? Because it's got a subpoena. Something about a gag order or something like that. So at that point in time, I was all like, okay, dude, well, here, this doesn't make any sense. So now I go to I'm telling him, so I go to the sheriff's and I pay them and then they're going to reimburse me right there. And then he said, no, you can't go to the sheriff's until we release the warrant. And then you can go to the sheriff's. And I was like, so in order to do that, I need to go to Walmart and pay and he's like, yes, it's like a bail bondsman. And I was like, well, that's weird. It's a bail bondsman. Who is this going to? And I said, how am I going to know who to send this money to? And they said, okay, look, we're going to send some barcode or something to your phone. And then when you receive that barcode, that is when you take that to Walmart's money, whatever. And when you get there, that's when you, use that information and then send it to them and then whatever. And then you go to you go to the sheriff's office and then you're good to go. You go do the signature verification and they'll give you your money back, right? So I'm still just, talking to him and I was like, wait, bro, this don't make any sense, dude. This don't make any sense. And then he starts to get a little frustrated. So now he's trying to say, all right. So what you're saying is you want to go the criminal route. And I was like, dude, I'm not sending anybody any money, bro. So if that's the way it's going to be, then if we go the criminal route, then we go the criminal route. I'm not sending any money to anybody. And then he says, well, you know what? The judge is not going to look very lenient on it because he's not going to care. He's just going to see that you didn't pay and that he doesn't care if you think it's a scam. He's going to see that you didn't pay. And that's what, dude, I agree with you, Colin, because initially, because we always keep it real here, bro. Initially, I was like, what the heck is going on here? Initially. But like at that point, because it's a shock at first when you're all like, the heck, there's a warrant out for me? I was like, what did I do? And then he's like, oh, summons, whatever. And then I just quickly text the moderator. I was like, yo, did I ever receive a jury summons? And she's like, no. So that was a verification that I needed to like, make sure that everything was correct, because what they tell you is you cannot communicate with anybody. He says you can't tell your wife, you can't do this, you can't do that, right? But I'm all like, well, this is a PG-13 show, but I was like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, dude, nobody's going to tell me that I can't talk to my wife. So I was just, let me text her. Did I get a jury summons? No. Okay, cool. So then I was already down a track, right? But what they do is they try and separate you from the herd so that you get no information but what they are telling you, and they bring it on real hard, real thick, and they are just trying to get you to bend to whatever, right? So I told the dude, I was like, look, dude, I'm not sending any money to anybody. So if I can go to the sheriff's office, then I'll be good to go. And then I'll pay the sheriff's office right there. But I'm not paying anybody except if I go to the sheriff's office directly. Then he's all like, oh, what's your ETA? And I'm all like, to where? He goes, to your house. And I was like, I don't know, I'll be there in like 15 minutes. Then he goes, well, you know what? If you're doing the criminal, do not go to your house. Report directly to the sheriff's office. And I was like, whatever, dog. I'll go directly to the sheriff's office. I don't care. And then he goes, hold on, please hold. And then he holds, and then like I could sort of hear something, but I can't really hear it all because I'm in the truck, right? I'm on the truck's Bluetooth. So then what he does is he says, hey, he essentially speaks to somebody there, and he's like, what was that? No, he said he's going to go with the criminal. He's going to go with the criminal, whatever. And then he's like, okay, so I just spoke with, and here's the funny part, bro. Here's the funny part. He said, I spoke with Captain, Sergeant, whatever the dude's rank was. But he said, I spoke with this individual from the sheriff's office. So I don't know all the officers from the sheriff's office, right? So I don't know all their names. I don't know what their ranks are. I don't know any of that. So I say, you know what, Doug? Here's one. He says, so I spoke with him, and he's going to call you. He's going to call you on the other line, and you better answer it, and then come back and you know, like, you need to merge the calls so that, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was all like, you know what, Doug? No. We'll do one better, homie. This is what I'm going to do for you. Pinche Officer Ortiz, bro. I knew it. I knew he was a Fed, bro. I knew it. Officer Ortiz. Dang it. I knew it, dogs. I knew it. Good call, Colin. Officer Ortiz, I'm on to you, dog. You tried to scam me. So, so then this dude, yo, what up, Don? What's happening? So then this dude, he tells me that he's going to call, but I call the sheriff office myself. He's like, no, hold on. No. They're going to call you. And I was like, dude, I'm going to call. I don't care. So then I call the police department, but I accidentally call Gunnersville's police department and not the sheriff's office. So I'm like, hey, man, is there an officer, blah, blah, blah. I forgot what his name was. And then they're like, I think there's one that works over there in the sheriff department, but not here. And then I was like, oh, wait, what is this? And then he's like, this is the Gunnersville Police Department. I was like, oh, my bad, dog. Oh, sorry about that, Doug. And then I said, oh, because there's some dude calling me that blah, 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 right? So then the officer was all like, yeah, that's probably a scam. And then I was like, all right, cool. But he said, well, here's the sheriff's number anyway. So then I call, and then I leave a message with because I asked for the officer's name, for the officer that they were saying. So what they do is they go get an actual officer's name, because it's not hard to look up. And then they use that person's name, right? So when they told me that the sheriff's office was going to call, I was like, dude, I'm not answering a phone call from the sheriff's office, because you can just put like a fake caller ID information so that when I see it, it says sheriff's office. So I'm not going to answer that, bro. I will call the sheriff's office myself, because after I had called the sheriff's office, dog, like, I was getting multiple calls from the sheriff's office, but prior to when I was trying to, I was getting calls from the thing, and then I got one more after I had called it. So I was like, I ain't even answering the real sheriff's office now. So then I was just like, all right, cool, whatever. And then I said, you know what, dog? I'm just going to drive over there. I don't care. If they arrest me, they arrest me. Who cares? So I checked with an officer friend of mine, and then he was all like, yo, bro, I'm pretty sure that's a scam. And then he tells me He goes, when you go in there, I want you to tell them that you did unspeakable crimes against humanity. And then when they ask what those crimes were, you say, they're unspeakable. So he had a good time with it, but I said, you know what? I'm just driving to the freaking sheriff department. And then I walked in there and I told the lady, I was like, yo, is there a warrant out for my arrest? Because someone gave me a call or whatever. And then she goes, oh, that's a scam. She said, that's a scam because we will not call you. If there's a warrant for your arrest, we will just show up to your house. We will not be calling you, telling you, hey, that you could do this or that. She said, we will just show up to your house. And I was like, all right, but do you want to double check to make sure that there is no warrant out for my arrest? And she's like, you're good. Don't worry about it. You would know if there was a warrant out for your arrest. So all of that happened, dogs. And that's why I cut the mic off, because I didn't know who it was, right? So then I just cut the mic, and then the dude just kept on talking and talking and talking, and he was giving some of my information back, well, to me, right? Because I didn't tell him the information. He just got it from somewhere because he knew my name, he knew my address, and somehow he got my phone number. So, I mean, that's easy to get, you know, basically on the internet and whatever. So as he was repeating that information to me, I was all like, is this microphone even off? I was like, is this microphone even off? Because I couldn't see it all the way up there, right? And I was like, are these guys hearing all my information? Am I going to get tons of fan mail to my address? Like, what is going on here? Either way, it was the dumbest thing that had happened. But did you guys notice that I did catch that one fish right at the end, right at the ramp? Right, dudes, when I got there to the body of water, and Creel, you've been guilty by association for a long time. But as long as we do this, Creel, then we're good. So don't worry about it. I learned that because when I walked into the sheriff's office, I was like, and then they were all like, he's good. He's good. Don't worry about it. So I arrived to that body of water. I saw a whole bunch of fish like chasing bait and whatnot. And so I was all like, okay, cool. I probably shouldn't leave this area. But instead, I searched the entire lake with not a single bite. And then I came back and I was like, dude, I bet you 100% I'm going to get a fish bit or a fish bite right here, right at the ramp. And I'm just going to be like, why did I waste all my energy going all the way around the lake when I could have just never left the ramp and caught a fish? So that is what happened, guys. That is why I got off the water like an idiot. So that is exactly what the problem was. And that is how the day ended, with a fish at least. Because once that microphone turned off, bro, and I was focused on what this dummy was telling me, that's when I could just focus and just be all like, okay, all right, dummy, what are you saying? You're saying that I've got a warrant? Okay, all right, yeah, tell me. Keep talking, player. So that right there is what happened. Jason, don't you be laughing at my potential scamming. They didn't scam me, players, but they did try. And I'm telling you, bros, if you are somebody who, let's say an older person or whatever that might not totally understand scams and whatever, dude, that pressure is put on thick. It is put on thick because they're talking about, we will send officers to your house, blah, 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 blah. And I'm all like, okay, there's one that lives next door to me. So, I mean, he'll probably just take me in for no reason. He'll be all like, yo, let's go for a ride. And I'll be like, all right, let's go. And it'll be nice and simple, bro. It'll be nice and simple. It won't be anything where we need to involve anything. I'll be like, oh, yo, moderator, I'm about to take a little cruise. I'm going to go somewhere. I'll be back. Maybe not. I don't know. So they do threaten you with, okay, look, if you don't pay this amount of money and you go in, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have to pay a bondsman and whatever and blah, 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 blah. Now, what he said was, which was a stupid thing, which is another key, right? To key in on. So don't ask how I know this, but when you go put for them to post your bond, don't ask how I know this. Whatever the number is, I believe you only pay 10% of that, right? And you're not getting that back. So, like, if the dude told me it was $5,000, my bond, then at that point in time, then I would have to dish out $500, and then I'd be able to go free and be like, okay, cool, whatever, I'm free to go. That's what the bondsman is for, because he is putting the rest of that. He's saying this fool will show up in court. If not, I'll bring his dead body back. So he makes his $500 and for doing nothing, but the action will have to be done afterwards if he has to go find somebody, right? So, that's the type of stuff where I was all like, wait a second, what are you telling me that I am going to have to still pay the same amount if I go to jail? That doesn't make any sense. Targeting certain last names, bro. Did they see him like Washalo? This vato, he sounds like a vato loco. So if he's a vato loco, that means that he's probably gonna be concerned about going to jail. But to me, bros, like there was so many things, so many flags that little by little, as I kept him on the line, all these flags started showing up because I kept having him repeat stuff. And I was like, well, hold on a second. You said this. And then he was all like, okay, all right, man, we can't be going around in circles. We just need to know and blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not in jail right now. I went to the sheriff's department and they were all like, you good, dog. So go do your thing. It's a scam. In fact, I saw an officer who was a homie of my neighbor, and he was all like, what are you doing here, bro? And then I was like, oh, this, that, and the other. And he goes, he said that he was he's been notified of two other people who have been scammed or attempted to be scammed in that fashion. So he's like, yeah, man, don't worry about it, bro. These guys, they're going to try all kinds of things. So, guys, me and Hobie Juan almost went to jail today. There was no way we were going to jail. But we almost went to jail today. We definitely went to the sheriff's department, but we didn't go to jail. So that's good. And we kept the streak alive, bros, in the last seconds. Yes, it was one fish on that body of water, but there was one fish on that body of water, and it came at the ramp where we started, which was the stupidest thing I've ever seen, but it is what it is. That is the way it went down. So that is the public service announcement that I wanted to bring you guys. And hopefully nobody gets scammed, because that stuff, I mean, these guys, they try all kinds of different ways. It's hard enough to earn the money, guys. And then these guys just try and come in and swoop and take money away and be like, oh yeah, bro, just send me all these thousands over here to this Walmart place because that's where the federal government does their business, at Walmart. So, stupidest thing at that point in time, I was like, bro, I had told him at first, I was like, I'm not sending any money to nobody, because I'm telling you right now, bro, I don't know who you are, and I don't know anything about what's going on. No, Colin, he didn't call the judge. He emailed the judge. And again, do not ask me how I know this part, but usually judges' responses are not instant. Judges' responses are like the next day or whenever they feel like it, right? So that part, I'm all like, what? This fool, he just got a response back from the judge? This fool, he's tripping. So I don't know what, no. So I'm going to stand up for India this time, bro. This was not an Indian scammer, bro. Because if this was an Indian scammer, bro, I'd just be all like, what's up? And then they would say whatever they're going to say. And I'd be like, this just don't sound right. Peace out, player. Boom. That's how quick that one would have done, bro. Yes, Drew. The boat is still in the shop. So I would have hung up on that one real quick, bro. But This one was a straight up American speaking to me. I have a guess as to what type of American it was, but this was just a straight up American speaking to me and attempting to stay in the role, right? Stay all proper and be like, oh, yes, sir, I believe that, this, that, and the other, the judge, blah, 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 blah. So at that point in time, once they knew that I was calling the cops myself, then they were all like, oh, we've been made. But just to make sure, bros, I went to the sheriff's office and asked them, do I have a warrant? And they said no. And I was like, all right, cool. So it's kind of weird because I kind of feel like she couldn't have, because let's say I have a warrant for like parking tickets, whatever, right? I could still be driving around and have a warrant. So she never looked it up. So in theory, I could still have a warrant. But it's a scam, of course, but still, that doesn't mean that I am null and void of warrants. Dude, he said take cash or a debit card, no credit card. I was like, that's interesting, player. That's very interesting. No credit card, because here's the thing. Credit cards, they do have somewhat of a way to help you get your money back. I don't know if they actually do, but there is a fraudulent charge, blah, blah, blah kind of situation where you can cut it out. Like you can cut out the charge or whatever. So that right there, I mean, the whole thing was just stupid. But the initial portion of it, it did, like I was fishing and I was all like, let me see what this is all about. That's why I was all like, all right, peace out, guys. I just threw you guys a peace sign on the camera because I had to have my entire wits about me so that I can assess the situation. I can determine what moves we were going to make. So next one that's probably going to happen is they're going to be all like, hey, we got your address, so you better pay us or else something's going to happen. And I'll be all like, dog, I would advise against that. I would advise against that, but, to each their own, I guess. Did I tell them to like and subscribe? I didn't. So that's on me, Creel. My bad. That could have been another subscriber. And then they could have seen this. They could have seen this right here. And I would have looked them in their eyes. And I would have done it like Mel Gibson in Ransom. Spoiler alert, guys. I would have done it like Mel Gibson in Ransom. And I'd be like, this right here is the $3,200 that you wanted. And this is as close as you will ever get to it, as I have now put a bounty of $3,200 on your head. So I could have done that, but I didn't have them freaking subscribe. So because of that, Creel, we lost our opportunity, dog. That would have been just a very, cinematic moment right there, bro, where we take back the power and we tell him, here's $3,200, dog. And then we would have been like that, and then we would have had our grill and we're like, hey, what's up, this $3,200 player, with our chains. And we'd be like, nah, dog, that's as close as you're getting to it. So I don't know, my bad. I messed up on that one, dudes. So unless there's any questions, dog, that was what happened today. We caught the one fish to keep the streak alive. So we caught the one fish to keep the streak alive. So we are now 30 times 4 plus some number of days of consecutive non-zeros. It was very tough today, guys. That one was one of the shaddiest performances that we have put in. But in the end, we still caught one. It was right at the beginning. So right at where we started, we wasted a lot of the Chevrolet's gas. We put more mileage. Oh, that's the other thing, dog. That's the other thing. He asked, and this is probably irrelevant and stupid and whatever, but he asked for unless he steals my title, he asked for or unless he's attempting to steal my title, he asked for the odometer of the truck. That is one other oddity. So that was, thank you, Colin. It was tough. It was tough. I needed that guy to try and scam me so that I could catch that fish. But he asked for the odometer of the truck. He's like, okay, what does your odometer read right now? I was like, why? And he's like, well, because we need to know how far you are from the sheriff's office. And I'm like, what the? So I don't know what the point of that was. If you guys can brainstorm, maybe you guys can figure it out. Cubo Big Peppo, what's up? We're just over here discussing how you could get scammed because someone tried to scam me today, bro. Told me I had a warrant because I didn't go to jury duty, and then all kinds of stupidity. So, do I need help finishing painting my garage? So I did give him the odometer, bro, because I felt like that was not going to cause any issue. I was just all like, all right, dude, whatever. So that to me didn't. Well, okay, so maybe they can drop a fake bill of sale and, man, that's a lot of, because they got to know my make and model of my vehicle. So I'll keep an eye on my truck. So, yeah, we'll see. Maybe that was the key the whole time, dog. They was two scamming me. They were double scamming me, bro. So now we'll have to. Were they double scamming me? That's a great question. I don't know. I don't think so. Because that is more information than that they would have to have. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drive the car or the truck around many millions of miles so that it doesn't match anymore. So I'll ask my officer friend and be all like, yo, bro, do you think I should submit a police report that these idiots were trying to scam me? Yeah. Well, we got video evidence here, which might not hold up in court, but yeah. What did we do, guys? They want my catalytic converter. Interesting. So we'll see. But I mean, to me, I feel like they were just trying to scam me out of the $3,200. That was their main goal. The rest was just stupidities, trying to make it sound like it was legit, right? So that's what I think was happening. But we're always running those chess games. So, I mean, the dudes can't come and pick up it's not like they're just going to come and pick up the car for, like, Like, no reason. Like, we're not going to notice. So I'm going to be all like, what in the heck? Bro, somebody's at my house. No. That won't happen because without getting into too many details, there are notifications that will pop up. So they can't just show up. We're thinking about it. Throw an air tag in there. That means that I would have to have Apple, and I don't like Apple, so that's even worse. So, yeah. GM is lost. Well, GM, if Taco was here, he would tell you you are lost, but now you are found, and then he would pray over you. I don't know what his deal was. I mean, you could call the news and have them do a story and promote my YouTube channel. I'll be like, all right, guys, so here's the whole thing about what happened, and also subscribe. That is how we get subscribers. We will get subscribers that way. We missed out the opportunity to get subscribers from that guy who was scamming us. When did you catch that fish today? Are you kidding me, Unlimited? Oh, man. Washalo, Unlimited. You're making me mad already. Exhibit A, Your Honor. This is a live that happened today. This is at an unknown body of water. Some may know, some may not, but we will not discuss that. We will fast forward to 4 hours and change when we are by the ramp. This is around the time that the microphone cut off because Senor Scams-A-Lot was trying to scam me. So I turned off my microphone so that you guys couldn't hear what was going on. So let's see if the mic is on. Nope, mic is not on because I am currently talking to Senor Scams-A-Lot. Let's see where. We still have audio here, I believe. We might not. Okay, we have audio here. Verification of audio. At some point in time in this, and again, this is streams inside of streams, so watch out, guys, because we may mess up the time continuum here, but at some point in time, I'm going to have a phone call.
Bait fish.
There are fish over there in the jump, right there.
In this direction.
There's the phone call.
This is probably my brother calling from a restricted number.
Okay.
Let's see.
Restricted number. I cut the mic. Now, when Senor Scams-A-Lot tells me, hey, bro, you got yourself a warrant. I'm like, all right, keep talking, dog. Let me see what's going on. And then we're there. We're still fishing this area. And we're like, all right, Senor Scams-A-Lot. Thank you for allowing me to focus on what I'm supposed to do, and that's catch fish. So here I am, still fishing with Senor Scams-A-Lot on the line telling me I'm going to spend the rest of my life in jail. I doubt that it was the rest of my life, but Senor Scams-A-Lot tells me that, and he motivates me to catch my only fish as a free man, Unlimited. Look at that, as a free man. That is my last fish as a free man because apparently I had a warrant. So remember that, guys. I don't, and I didn't, and I shouldn't, and I shadn't. And there it is, Unlimited. Let us pause right there briefly to look at this fish that continues the streak. Ooh, a shallow. Oh, bro. And just for that, Unlimited, this is the streak that never ends. It goes on and on, my friends. Some people started watching it not knowing what it was, and they'll continue watching it forever just because this is the streak that never ends. It goes on and on, my friends. And there it is, Unlimited. That is what you get for asking, when did I catch that fish? Well, I caught it right there, bro. And in case you need some more verification, that was 8 hours ago, so that people won't say, hey, that's fake news. 8 hours ago. So thank you very much, Unlimited. Now we will go back to your regularly scheduled live public service announcement and see what Unlimited has been saying behind the scenes. Or
Public service announcement.
oh, that's loud. So there you go, Unlimited. Any other questions? That is when I caught it. I don't know if there was anything before all that, but oh, good thing I have this on, bro. Because like my live over there, the comments aren't updating. So I can see them here. So not only did we catch a fish to continue the streak, but we caught a fish in the stingiest freaking lake I have been around in a while. So I felt like I was back in New Mexico, dogs. It was crazy. So with that, guys, unless you have any legal questions or anything that that would cause you guys to put a comment in there, a question, a comment, whatever you guys are gonna do. I guess we will cut this live off and we will just go enjoy sitting on the couch as a free man, because we were not scammed and we didn't have a warrant. So, and we are not over here. Oh, Colin, you got to wake up pretty early in the morning to scam me. I'll work the details out, but it's gonna take some work, dog. But yes, thank the good Lord that I didn't get scammed, and I still got some money. That's what's up. What's for dinner? Hey, moderator, what's for dinner? Sheriff has been warning about these warrant calls. Hey, GM. How often do you think I'm talking to sheriffs, bro? I don't talk to sheriffs all the time, dog. So I did not get the message, bro. I had to go through it firsthand and be all like, whoa. Widow old me's got a warrant? Why did widow old me get a warrant? Chicken Alfredo or chicken and bacon Alfredo. So yeah, bro. As Unlimited says it, puro apple pie, bro. Well, more than likely it is tasty, bros. I'll let you know. So the streak continues, guys, and I do appreciate you guys showing up. So that's what's up, guys. We will get out there tomorrow. And oh my God, I pray that the freaking tomorrow is the last day that I have to be without silver. Dude, if these fools keep my boat through the weekend, oh dear God. Oh dear God. What did I do, bros? Me and Bromance are twinsies. Yes, Fred, I will be avoiding that lake. And guys, if you want to twin out, which will technically be like tripling out and then quadrupling out or whatever the case may be. But if you want to twin out with me and Bromance, you can pick up this Fish Around and Find Out shirt at www.semperfish.net, bro. I can call the sheriff for you if you think you need it. or I will be playing golf with him on Saturday. So I don't think I need it. The only potential is the odometer, but I don't think they were after my vehicle, bro. I think that's a couple more hoops to jump through. What they wanted was my money. So I don't know. If I show up and I report to you guys, hey guys, I don't got a truck. Well then, they got me. Yo, check out the fit, bro. Look at that. American flag right there. Ooh-wee. Washallah, bro. That is styling, player. That is styling, dog. Creel can't even hate on this, bro. Creel cannot hate on this right here. No. He could try, but he can't. He can't. So, my dudes, remember to fish around and find out. And if there are no other statements, questions, or alibis, holla at your boy. Peace out.